Hi, I'm here today with Stewart Peebles, our newly installed Director of Music Ministries, and we're just going to spend a little time today getting to know a little bit about Stewart. So welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here today.
I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and how you came to be with us.
Where I originally came from is Montana. I grew up on a ranch there. And then I went and decided that I wanted to be in music. I liked music. My mother was a violinist, and my grandmother was a concert organist out of Canada. And so music was a part of my life because we all had to learn to play an instrument and to sing at our home, even though we're on a ranch. And so we all had to learn to do that. And so I started playing the piano when I was 7. And I naturally sang. I never took voice lessons. And then I moved. I was supposed to be an architect according to my father. He had our lives all planned out. But I decided I didn't really care for geometry because I could figure it out without. It was something too simple to see, and why do you need to do all the theorems? So I thought that would be boring to me. And so I wanted to be music, and of course I was the black sheep of the family that did not follow the path of what my father wanted. But I found out that I was very successful at doing music. So and they were proud of me at the end. So I majored in music, and then I had an opportunity to go to Europe. I had 2 choices: either to be a Rhodes Scholar. I had a Rhodes Scholarship offered to me, and to also go into music. And then I said, I want to go major in music in Vienna and learn opera. And that's what I did.
Wow, opera.
Yes.
You don't hear of a lot of people majoring in opera.
Well, you do in Vienna. What can I say? It's the music capital of the world. Mm-hmm. And so I had that opportunity. At the time, I was engaged, and I was going to be planning on coming back, and I was offered a contract to stay. I had an open-ended airline ticket from the Vienna Opera Company, and I decided that I should come home, and that's what I did. Otherwise, I'd still be over there. Oh. But I'm glad that God always has a plan for us. I feel that I promised I would come back. I told my parents, and I did.
Right. Yeah. And
then I ended up majoring in music and finishing and doing several degrees in music. And I was an educator for 25 years.
And was all of that right here in Carson, or just some of it was?
No. The first several years I was in Montana,
okay,
up at Whitefish School District, mm-hmm, near Glacier National Park, which is just absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And I was fulfilling a sabbatical position for a gentleman that was getting his doctorate's degree in choral studies. And so I ended up having to give that position back after his sabbatical was up. And in Montana, people don't want to leave Montana.
Right.
And so the position of having just strictly choral or music director, there weren't any openings. And I interviewed with a gentleman from Carson City in Missoula, Montana, where they had a job fair. And by that time, I had 5 offers, and one of them was here. And as soon as I came here and looked at the mountains, as long as I had the mountains on the west side of me, I knew where I was.
Right.
And Lake Tahoe reminded me a lot of Flathead Lake because they're equivalent in size. Mm-hmm. And so in between, you learn to love the desert.
Right.
And see the beauty in that too. But as long as I had that and cows, mm-hmm, I was in a ranching community, so that made me just feel more at home. So now I've been here since 1985, okay, and have not returned back to Montana. So, but we still have a place up there.
You do?
Yes.
Well, and that was my next question, is you grew up on a ranch.
A ranch, yes.
The lazy F6, lazy F6.
You got it down because it's on my license plate.
I had to think about it, but yes, the lazy F6 ranch. And so growing up on a ranch, obviously music was a huge part of your life right from the beginning.
Right.
But you were also on a ranch. So how did that influence the way that you see life?
Well, I think that knowing that music, if I wanted to do anything with music, when I'm sitting on a tractor in the middle of the summer, looking around and watching the airplanes fly overhead, then you start thinking of where you could travel and go and learn and do things. And so, it was a release for me. Music was a release. It was more than a hobby, because I really worked hard at it. But and part of ranch life, you think of something when you grow up that you're never you can't wait to get out of here.
Right.
And then when you realize how special it was, and special it is, then you realize everything has a purpose and a meaning in life. And so it makes you appreciate everything you've experienced.
Right. But sometimes you just have to kind of get away from that to understand
Definitely.
that. I think most kids experience that.
They do.
As part of their growing up.
And hopefully they do experience that and aren't stuck in one thing.
Right.
So.
So you've been here with us at FPC for about a month now. Can you tell us how that came around and what you've experienced so far?
Well, I've been retired for 7 years, and I completely just put music to the side because I felt like I was getting burned out from it a little bit, and so I did that, and then I'd had a person from your church before had asked if I'd ever wanted to come back and teach, and I said no, I wasn't interested, and that was several years ago. And then I realized something was missing in my life that I needed to do more than just play golf and ski, and which is a wonderful thing.
It sounds nice, yeah.
But what do you do in between? And so that's when I received a phone call, and I was told that there would be a job opportunity here in the choral position, music, and so I said, I'm interested. And the next thing you know, a few weeks after that, here I am.
Here you are.
And so I knew God had a plan for me.
I think for all of us. We had been looking for someone for about a year, or been without someone for a year, and took our time in prayer and such, and we're just asking for the right person to be raised to the position. And I think we all feel that that's happened.
Well, and I feel really welcomed here, and that's important to know that.
Good.
So
Good, glad to hear that.
And the people are really receptive towards me. And like we had discussed, the honeymoon isn't over yet.
Not yet.
But you always have a position in life in which, the reality sets in, and yes, he's here, and yes, we will be learning. So there's no slacking off.
No. Well, speaking of that, so looking to the future, what's your vision for Music Ministries?
The Music Ministries, I feel I can see things, especially with both the choir and the praise team, and sharing it. For me, I'm already feeling that I'm expanding my horizons as an educator. I was never really too experienced in the praise team area of providing music, and now I'm finding an interest, and I see something in which can happen now, and that is with the praise teams. I want it to grow, but not just have one praise team, but have 2 to 3 praise teams in which every other week they'll alternate.
Okay.
And do things, and then have an expansion of that, and to have leaders in each one of those groups of people. Already, I've had 2 people that are interested in joining the praise team and the choir, and they're both very good and have experience in that. So I see those people as coming in as being co-leaders with others that are already leading in that area, and expanding that. And with the choral area of teaching choir, there's so much to do, and that will be done. And that's having the choir be a part of this every 2 weeks, doing a song, doing cantatas in special events and holidays, getting it involved with the community, getting them involved with us. I've already reached out to the Methodist Church, and they're receptive to it.
Oh, good.
And so that's exciting. Another fellow colleague that's I've known all my life since I lived here. She's the choral director over at the Methodist Church, and that I can see a good growth and experience with that group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities for people to be involved.
There are,
and everyone's welcome.
Right, and it isn't just has to have to be just a group of people. It can be a soloist too, person singing singularly. So, and that's where I think I'm going to grow. I already sense it because with a liturgical background of having been directors of churches before in the music field, I see that the praise team area will help blossom another part of my voice as well in singing.
Just something different for you.
Different style.
Different style. It is. It is. And I know we're all enjoying both the choir and the praise team.
Correct.
And it's this past Sunday was the first choir performance.
Uh-huh.
And it was lovely.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I think it went well. The way to have it succeed is making sure that the people that are doing those things feel successful at what they're doing. And so, with that said, they were well prepared, and they will always be well prepared. And even with the praise team, getting them more well prepared as well, and being more confident. Then there's less jitters and worries about how things are going to turn out, and nerves.
Right. No, I think that's really the key, preparation and confidence.
Correct.
Then you can get up and do anything. So, sounds like you have it well in hand.
Well, I've been doing it for a few years. Needless to say.
Right, and we get to benefit from that. So.
Well, and it's good. It's good for me. Because you sometimes, as a director, you feel like you're a magician because you're pulling things out of your hat that work. And I pretty much know what doesn't work.
Right.
So I've got a lot of things to pull from, tools in the toolbox to pull from.
Right, and that's also from your years as an educator too.
Yes.
It sometimes is the best stuff is on the fly when you have to. This isn't working. What am I going to do now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and you've got to learn that if you're good at what you do, then when things like this come up, you can do it.
So what would you say to someone who might be interested in being involved, but they're afraid that their voice isn't that good, they're not good with pitch, all those things, and so they're hesitant to get involved?
Well, my feeling is, and having been an educator for over 40 years, that everyone is able to sing. Even though you may feel that you're tone deaf or you can't sing, there's ways of involving that and having people involved in music. So I think there's a saying that, you don't know unless you try. And I'm a person that's willing to let anybody try. And I really want them to come and be a part of it. And I don't put anybody down or belittle them. I want them to feel really comfortable.
Sure. And I think for somebody who enjoys singing, maybe they're, a shower singer or a car singer, but they're unsure of their voice.
Right.
Taking that step to attempt it is very nerve-wracking.
Right, but you have to realize, too, you're with a group of people, so it's not just you by yourself. And people say, well, I can't sing, you don't want to hear me sing. Well, I do want to hear you sing. And number two, they'll say, well, I can't read music, I don't know what I'm doing, and all that, and excuses like that. Well, I hate to tell them, about 5% of the people know how to sight read music.
That would be me. I can't hit a pitch on my own, but I can sight read.
If you've got somebody around you that knows what that's going on, then
that's been my experience.
Helps. And I actually teach people how to sight read. There's ways of tools of teaching when I'm teaching the music on how to sight read, and already they've experienced that.
That's great.
And they really are surprised at what they pick up. So it works. I mean, I've taught lots of kids, so.
Yep.
And everyone's a kid, no matter how old we are. We're all God's children, so.
Agreed.
That's where we're at.
Agreed. Well, I have a little something special here for as we wrap this up. But before we do that, is there anything I haven't asked that I should have, or anything you'd like us to know that I haven't hit on?
Well, no. There's always some surprises I may know about myself, but I'm not going to indulge those all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, we may have to see you again. Okay, well then, in the spirit of James Lipton and inside the Actors Studio, they do this bit at the end with the 10 questions. Well, I have 11 because I'm an overachiever, I guess.
You just want to put me through more reality of the hoops.
So here we go. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Awesome.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
No.
What is your favorite virtue?
Virtue? I don't know if I have a real favorite virtue. Do I have to have a favorite virtue?
That not necessarily. We'll let you think on that, and we'll another time we'll.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to you, then we'll pop it in somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe throw it in the Mary and Sherry show. We'll just
now you're getting me involved in that. Okay.
Here's Stewart with his favorite virtue, and you can just say it and we'll move on. What do you appreciate most in your friends?
Their honesty, and they're not fake. They're real. Mm-hmm. I've always made sure I surrounded myself with really good people, because you don't ever know when you're going to need them.
What sound or noise do you love?
Music.
What sound or noise do you hate?
The sounds of fingers going down a chalkboard.
Of course, our chalkboard days are over now.
Well, I'm sorry. I still remember them.
I do. When I began teaching, we had them too, so that kind of dates me a little bit. Who is your favorite painter or composer?
My favorite composer is Mozart.
Okay.
And painter would be my mother.
Yeah.
She was an artist. Yeah, she did over 900 paintings, and her art's in 23 countries.
Oh, wow. I'd love to see some of that sometime.
So, yeah, she does portraits of Indians and Native Americans.
Okay. Who is the most overrated painter or composer?
There's a lot of them today. I mean, I wish I could bebop and do things and make millions of dollars, but evidently I don't have the talent for that.
Okay. All right. What profession other than your own would you like to try?
I've been fortunate in trying different things in life. I'm afraid if I say it, it's going to happen. You never know. What can I say?
From your lips to God's ears?
Yes, sometimes it seems to be the case. So, if I ever... I'd like to be a movie star.
That's okay, because mine would be Broadway star, singer and dancer.
Okay, there you go.
So we're on the same page there, kind of.
But we're kind of movie stars right now, but we're TV stars. There we go.
I'm officially a diva, so.
I never guessed differently.
Okay, so what... I gotta come back from that. Wow. It's good to have you on staff, Stewart.
Thanks. Are you meaning that sincerely?
New segment, Keeping It Real with Stewart. So, on the flip side of that, what profession would you not ever want to have?
Dump truck operator.
Really?
I don't want to handle garbage.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Because heaven exists, when you walk up to the pearly gates or whatever, what would you like God to say to you? What would you like to hear?
Well, first, I would not look at him. I'd bow down to him. And I would accept his graciousness to let me in to his beautiful heaven. And that I was honored to have that. That's what I would want.
I think that's about the best answer I could have heard. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing yourself with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a little bit of fun.
It was. It was. It was. And the fun times are going to continue. And
I hope so.
The music and all of that. So if you are interested in being involved in any of our music ministries,
come,
right
please.
Here.
We want you.